Hey there, today I have an unboxing video for you, and this is from Heritage Auctions from a few weeks ago when I did a little prep work and I ended up winning one of the lots. So I'm going to open this up and show you which lot I won and see if you remember it from that video. So stay tuned. Alright, so first things first, we're going to have to open this up and see what's inside. And as I mentioned in the intro, this is from Heritage Auctions. And there was some prep work that I did for one of their Sunday, Monday Comic Select auctions. And I was going through some of the lots and kind of targeted a few of them. And I have one big regret, and then obviously one that I'm not regretting, which is this purchase here. So let me get this unboxed and then I'll talk about the lot that I regret and then the one that I ended up getting. Alright, had a heck of a time getting the outer box open, but here it is with tons of bubble wrap, which is, again, great. I love it. The more bubble wrap, the better. And always great to have extra for when you're sending out your books that you sell. A bit of a warning here, items enclosed. So in case you didn't know there were books inside, you've got that notification there to help you out. Okay, so let me get the tape off. They did tape the bubble wrap together for these books. So as I go through and peel off the tape here, there was a particular lot, and spoilers for the lot that I won and the lot that I regret not winning. It was a multiple comic book lot, which is, I've talked about. When you see me do my prep, I will go through and itemize those lots, because to me that's where you can really find some of the gems. You do have to pay for, let's say, books that are not as desirable or books that aren't considered to be keys in order to get the book that you want. But I think overall, you end up getting a better deal. So there was an auction lot that included Fantastic Four number 94. And I talked about this while I was prepping and saying how this is the first appearance of Agatha Harkness. And it wasn't on sort of the 3-book image that they used to describe the lot. It was buried. It said in the description, number 94, first Agatha Harkness. It was there, and it was right around the time the news was coming out that Disney is trying to come up with, or has announced or negotiated a show with the actress Kathryn Hahn, and was going to do a whole show just with Agatha. I'm like, this is perfect. I can basically snipe this lot from Heritage. And again, I'm talking about sniping. It's still very expensive. It's very costly. So it's not like I'm sniping these for $1 or anything. But the auction came up and I chickened out. The numbers started to go up, but it was still within my range. It was under my max. I just couldn't pull the trigger. I just couldn't do it. And that book has shot up. It's been on every top 10 list since then. And it's going to be one of those purchases where I have buyer's remorse. I have more buyer's remorse with comic books than I do seller's remorse. So there's books that I've sold that it's gone up in value since I've sold it, and I don't really care because I've already made some profit or my money back or whatever the case may be. And I'm very content and happy with the sale. But buyer's remorse, man, that stuff just haunts me. So now Fantastic Four number 94 is just a book that's going to elude me for the rest of my comic book collecting career. So what I ended up with, though, was this nice stack of Fantastic Four Silver Age books. And this top book in particular, and I'll show you each book in here, but because it's wrapped this way, I'll go ahead and show you. This is Fantastic Four 77. And when I was going through my prep, there wasn't anything specifically with this book that was a key, other than the fact that it's an awesome, awesome Jack Kirby cover. And what I noticed when I was going through the lot and kind of zooming in on the scans is that this specific book looked to be in great condition. Now, I'm not going to screen each book, but the average grade in this lot was very fine. And I was thinking to myself, if I was able to acquire Fantastic Four 77 at a very fine and a reasonable price, and the lot went for a reasonable price, that I would gladly pay for the extra books in the lot. So as you saw in the unboxing, Heritage is going to very securely wrap the books. Everything came in that bubble wrap, and then what they ended up doing is putting one outer bag around the 5 books. So let me go ahead and get the outer bag undone. And again, I understand that in order to get a true and accurate grade, you're going to take the book out of the bag and screen it, and I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to kind of look at it and show you what the book looks like in the bag, and assume that the professional graders at Heritage did me a solid and made sure that the average grade of these books were all very fine. Now, that's the way the lots come. So that's the risk and that's the gamble. The gamble is that there could be that one book that you're looking for, and it's not a very fine, or it's not near mint, or whatever the grade is, and the rest of the books are above that. So now you bought the lot for the one key, but you're kind of screwed because the other books aren't in as great a quality. But the fact that, I could get these 5 Silver Age books in very fine condition was amazing. And a lot of times, too, these books have the ability for pressing. They're not always pressed when they come in, depending on where they get it from. So this is Fantastic Four number 77. So this is the book that I wanted out of the lot. The cover struck me. That great Jack Kirby art. The colors here. There's so many characters. We have Galactus on the cover, Silver Surfer. Just amazing. A real sort of time capsule, if you will, that really speaks to Kirby and the Fantastic Four. Just not a key issue. So there's no big first appearance or reveal in this book. But again, if I'm kind of putting together, I think I said this on my prep video, if I'm putting together like a Silver Age nostalgic comic wall or something, like that book just pops. So looking at it here, again, I'm not going to screen it. I do see a few spine ticks. There's definitely a little bit of some sort of color rub or dirt here. Everything else is pretty crisp. The corners are nice and sharp. There's a bit of a fold here with a color break, so it's not perfect, but it's definitely in that fine to very fine range at first glance, that first impression. So that's really awesome. I'm really glad that I ended up pulling the trigger for that one. So stay. The next one is, as part of the lot, is Fantastic Four number 87. So the theme with this is not super big keys in this Fantastic Four run, but late in the 1 to 100 range. And again, I'm getting all of that great Kirby artwork as well. So this is Fantastic Four 87. And with this one, it does have a miswrap, but it is at least consistently straight. So it doesn't have that weird Silver Age wrap where it's kind of slanted or off center. This one, I would say, is better than very fine. This one looks really, really sharp. This one has a corner issue there, some splitting. Top corner is a little soft, but not bad. So at first glance, I'd have to open this up and see again. But this looks to be potentially a near mint, or at least a 9. I have a 9.0 slab, and the book in the slab is certainly more beat up around the spine than this one. This one, gosh, I would probably just send it in to CGC as is. Based on my first impression of taking the book out and looking at it in the bag and board. The next one is an interesting one. It's not my favorite cover. It's Fantastic Four 92. This is a book that I see quite often on Heritage and in other places, and not the most attractive cover. When you've got the Jack Kirby, Ben Grimm thing kind of as the focal point, and then a lot of it like a newspaper sort of thing. Not a book that I would display on a wall unless I'm a big time Fantastic Four fan, or again displaying a whole run. But it is a 15-cent Silver Age copy book. At first glance, first impression, the colors on it are for what it is. It definitely pops. The spine has 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe noticeable spine ticks there. But overall, pretty good. I would definitely put this in that very fine range or above in a near mint minus possibly. But somewhere in the 8 to 9 range, I think, is fine. And again, getting Silver Age books in that 8, 9, 9, 2, 9, 4 range, just having it raw with the potential for grading, just insane. So there is that. The next is Fantastic Four 97. Again, another great colorful book. We got the Fantastic Four on vacation with the monster from the Lost Lagoon, coming up behind him there. But really cool. Poor Johnny Storm. He's kind of off by himself. But interesting. It at first glance again has, I would say, minimal spine wear or spine ticks. A few here, but the colors on this one really great. Again, we're getting away from the 1 to 60 range, getting up to 100. Not a key Fantastic Four book, but from a presentation perspective, probably my second favorite of the 5-book lot after 77. But really great, great shape. Again, not a key, but any sort of Silver Age Marvel in that higher grade I will take. To me, it sort of looks like, again, has the potential to be in that 8, 5, or 9 range at first glance. Then the last book is Fantastic Four 100. Again, lots of fantastic Kirby art on the cover there. Doctor Doom on this cover. Namor anniversary issue. So while not a key, it sort of is a semi-key because it's an anniversary issue. This one looks to have quite a bit of damage that would put it under the very fine. I think this is more typical of the 6.0, maybe 6.5. So this could be the book that's pulling down the average. But again, from a color and presentation perspective, it's not bad. It does have a little bit of a miswrap spine, a little bit off-centered there. So, not a book that I would necessarily seek out in this condition if I saw it. But for, again, the average price per book, getting it and even getting this book in like a 6.5 range, I think I got a deal here. Very interesting. We don't see covers like this anymore with so many characters. You're thinking George Perez, those types of artists that really just filled the cover with characters. It's interesting as a kid just to see all of these characters together and see all of the different action sequences and everything. So really happy to have not only Fantastic Four 100, but all of these books in the collection. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about when I talk about Heritage auction multiple book lots, check out my auction prep videos. I usually do those live on the weekend, but not every week. But join me live. Let me know if you have questions. You can definitely chat at me or bug me while I'm going through these. But 77, just an amazing cover. And again, in order to acquire it at a good price, I did have to buy the rest, but was very, very pleased with the lot in general. So assuming as I grade these that there's nothing, there's no gotchas in there, there's no torn pages or things cut out, these look to be in really great shape. And I would say at worst, they do average out to very fine based on that first impression, first glance. So this is very cool. Very glad that I at least Had the courage to bid on this one. Although Fantastic 494 escaped me, I'm really happy that I did win this lot. So there you go. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Happy collecting, and see you next time. They were multiple book